I am excited about what's going to happen. So you have unlimited Facebook support group. I'm going to encourage you guys to be a part of the Facebook group. I believe that most of you are a part of it, but I want to see more people participate. I want to see you. I want to see you guys share your wins. I want to see you share your success. Ask questions. Do not be shy. Start, building up your. The more you share about your company, that is actually marketing for you. You may not know, but this is actually marketing. So I want to share that with you guys, that I'm expecting you to be a part of the group as much as possible.
Okay.
Okay. So let me make sure that I'm recording just to be sure, because I always messing up the recording.
It say recording in the top left corner
Yeah.
now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So it's unlimited support. Please, guys, just share your wins. And by the way, while I'm here talking about share your wins, I have a great offer that I'm going to share with you guys, a giveaway, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit when it comes to sharing your wins. All right. Interact with experts who will be in the group. Will always be questions in the group. There'll always be people who have an answer to something. And in that way, whatever you share, if you have had any challenges with your payroll or your background screening or your contracts or any nurse, you can share your experience. And the more you share your experiences there, people learn from you, and we want to learn from each other, hold each other accountable, and ensure that we grow as we go along. There are many different healthcare staffing agencies out there in the social media world. But I don't want you guys to just have a name. There are a lot of names out there, names, a ton of healthcare staffing agency or medical staffing agency. One of the things I want to, I want to reaffirm and ensure that this doesn't happen with this group is just you just have the name. You have the name. You want to make an impact, and you're there to make money. So I want to make sure that just go give it all you've got as much as possible. All right. And we're going to have a few successful business owners added to the group as well. Forms, templates, contracts. If you're once as you launch, and if you're missing any kind of form that you think you need, any contracts, any templates, you can always check with me. More than likely I will have a template or a sample or something that you can have. You can always contact me to ask you for any particular forms, any templates, or any contract, because each state is different. They may ask you for something that another state may not need. So any challenge you come across when it comes to any kind of a as you operationalize your organization, things will come up. You can always contact me. We're going to have a monthly live Q&A. I'm not sure if that is, I can't say it's unlimited or it's for 6 months. I will let you know as time goes by, but we're going to have at least a monthly, either on Facebook Live or in Clubhouse. And this is going to be is either myself or some other experts in the business of healthcare staffing to encourage you, to motivate you, and to educate you with everything that you need to know as far as staffing is concerned. Because I just want you guys to understand this is a whole specialty by itself. This is a entire um, industry by itself, healthcare staffing industry, and you can thrive, you can flourish in this industry if you give it your all. I'm here to remind you that you are here to discover the hidden treasure in healthcare staffing industry. Every single one of you who is enrolled in this university, healthcare staffing university, you are here to discover the hidden treasure that is in healthcare staffing. Healthcare staffing, let me tell you who it's not for. And I'm sure that I don't have any of you in this category. Healthcare staffing is not for those who will give up quickly. Healthcare staffing is not for those who are quick to quit. There are people out there, as soon as they get a no from an organization, they are ready to quit. That's not what healthcare staffing is about. If you want to make 6 figures, 7 figures, $1 million, you have to go all the way out. And this, you have to live it, you have to breathe it. And this is just going to be just something that you're going to focus on. Your business, you are your business. And that's why I feel like business is such a spiritual thing, because you're going to work the business from the inside out. Healthcare staffing is not for those who don't have a vision of success. You have to imagine yourself successful. You have to imagine your organization growing. And if you get one contract today, and even though you may not have enough nurses or CNAs to fill the openings that they're requesting of you, that doesn't mean you're not going to try and get more contracts. You're going to get as many as you can. You want to go all the way out. Healthcare staffing is not for those who are not clear with their staffing message. There are many people out there has too many things going on, and the hidden treasure is going to stay hidden in the healthcare staffing industry if you're not clear. When the message is clear, the results will appear. When your vision is clear, the results will appear. And I'm going to say that if you have 4 or 5 businesses going on, you're not going to be successful in healthcare staffing. You may want to assess yourself and say, what do I need to give to my clients today? What are the clients looking for? I want to tell you this. 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with 5 different healthcare leaders. And from the 5, one is a chief nursing officer, and 4 of them are nurse directors, some different location. One is a nurse director from what it was medical surgical nurse director. One is ICU, one is med surgeon, one is hospice. And I had a conversation with them. I called them particular to ask them one question. Just tell me what's it one thing, 1 or 2 things that keep healthcare leaders awake at night. 1 or 2. And please do not say patient safety, because everyone is worried about patient safety. Do not say patient safety, but give me one thing that keeps you awake at night as a healthcare leader. The CNO, the directors, and every single one of them said recruitment, staffing, and retention. Staffing, it's a big thing. So whether you're a consultant now or you're a trainer, whatever you're doing, assess and see what's the need of my clients today. And that's one of the reasons why I take healthcare staffing so seriously. 2, 3 years ago, I was not all over healthcare staffing ladders. I was all over training. I was all over conferencing. I was all over consulting, and I always doing all over doing a lot of different things in the healthcare industry. I'm a consultant, and I was doing different things for different organizations and training and school and all these things. But at this point, I had to make a shift to meet the needs of my clients. And I am right at the right place now, because my clients, my healthcare corporate clients right now, they need me. They need me to help them to staff. And that's why I made the shift. That's why I elevate my brand. I don't like to use the word pivot, because I believe that when you pivot, you're going in a round circle and you're staying at the same level. I call it, I shifted and I elevated. I had to make a shift to the next level. And the minute I made that shift, I realized I was at the right place, because now my clients could get my service. I'm able to service my clients because they need me right now. They need nurses. They need to staff their department. Do you know how happy a nurse manager is when they see me? Our organization send a list of 8 nurses will be there this morning. They're excited because they are short staffed. No one wants to run an ICU or an ER or a med-surg department short staff. I have been there and I know what it feels like. I have been there and I take it very seriously. When the ICUs or the med-surg areas in my corporate client organizations are short, I take it very, very seriously. I take it very seriously because it feels like I am the director. I am the chief nursing officer. So I want you to embrace your organization like you are the CNO, you are the chief nursing officer. Because the healthcare staffing is not for those who are surrounded with negative Nancy's. I have a spell check here. It means Nancy's. Healthcare staffing is not for those who are not clear with their staffing message. Healthcare staffing is not for those who are surrounded with negative Nancy's who are going to tell you, girl, you got to be kidding. Nobody's hiring staffing anymore. Nobody wants agency nurses anymore. Do not hang around those people because that's not the truth. There are 90% of organizations today are looking for healthcare staffing. 90% of organization. And when I talk about healthcare staffing, I want you guys to start focusing on, make your focus should be on supplemental staffing and per diem. And if you're out there and you're into contracts and travelers and contracts, I'm not saying you can't do that. But if you want to start and build up yourself, start with um, per diems and start um, getting contracts for supplemental. Most hospitals want supplemental. A lot of hospitals don't want to lock themselves in a contract at this time, and some do, of course. So if you find a contract, if they want travelers, it's a different story. But this overall teaching that I'm giving you, I want to focus on supplemental and per diem, and that's how you grow. When you begin to work on supplemental staffing and per diem staffing, this is how and what this is how you're going to iron out all the kinks in your staffing company. Because when you start focusing on the travelers and you start working out how much do I have to pay them for food and lunch and bonus and clothing and housing, it can be a little confusing when you don't understand the business of healthcare staffing. The way you're going to understand the business of healthcare staffing is by hiring per diem to start and supplemental. It's the same thing, really. I did that before I went into contracts. I did that, and I believe that you can run a business, a multi-million-dollar staffing company just with supplemental staffing, nationwide or even local-wise, supplemental and per diem. Because, and those are the best thing too. You know why? Because many nurses out there today, they want to just work their 2 days off, 3 days off. And if you can get as many nurses and CNAs as much as possible to work supplemental and per diem, I'm telling you, you will gain a lot. You can generate a ton of income. Because the way we worked it out, if you have 3 nurses schedule a 12-hour shift in the morning, and 3 nurses schedule a 12-hour shift in the 7P to 7A shift, that alone can put you at over $500,000 for the year. Over. Clearly. Matter of fact, it's almost 750,000. I'm talking about constantly. Depends on how much is your billing rate and what's your gross income from what you generate from the billing rate. And I've been working with some of you guys, I've been talking with you guys, and your billing rate, again, guys, is what you bill the staffing. It's easy to work out, but there's no law, there's no magic, you can't bill what everybody else is bill just by, oh, I'm just gonna just bill low because everyone else is bill low. You're gonna know what your staff, what is your industry paying? What is your community? What's your community standard? What is your community standard? What are the nurses making? And when you're checking out what, because I know I've met with a few people last week and week before last, and some people are still thinking that when they calculate it, they're using the full-time staffing rate to decide on their bill rate. When I say no, your company, know what other companies are paying. I'm not talking about the full-time staff we're making $30 an hour and $25 an hour. I'm saying know what agencies and healthcare staffing companies are paying their nurses. Know what they're paying their nurses, and then you can add how much you want to make to that to make your bill, to present your bill rate.
Right. And then you said like an example of that would be like calling a staffing agency and pretty much saying, hey, I'm an LPN and
What's your rate? What's your rate?
What's the rates for LPN?
Yeah, you can't, and I'm not telling you go there online, go to tell lie and say I want to work with you. Just say, hey, what's your rate? And what rate do you pay? You can ask them that. They may answer you, they may not, but you still have to be diligent and keep asking. You know, nurses around, you meet nurses and just say, what are they paying? You know, you can find out what nurses, we have to get out there and start building relationships to get answers. You may call the nursing agencies and they may not even tell you, but if you know how to present yourself, they will share with you what's your rate. And then you can pretty much know your bill rate from that. Because no company is going to tell you their bill rate. Nobody. If the bill rate is 100, and if the staffing rate is in the organization is $65, in the community $65. You want to try and stay in that $65 rent, but guess what? You want to make an extra $40 or $30 or $50 more. You add that to your billing rate and you present that. If they said it is too high, then you work and see, can I drop it a little bit? Don't just back out and say, oh my God, they don't want me, or just drop it because to the rate that they want. You have to factor in all of, your insurance, your income tax, your overhead on all these people, if you have workers like office staff, if you have virtual assistant, these are the things you have to factor in everything. And you can change nothing. You can start with a bill rate of $120 today. And if you realize that you can't pay your staff properly from that and you're growing, you can go back to the drawing board. You can go back. I have done it before. You can go back to the drawing board and let them know, based on the crisis that's taking place now, it's difficult for me to staff your organization because my competitors are paying so much more than what I'm paying. And because my competitors are paying so much more than what I'm paying, I'm going to ask you to relook at what we have agreed on and see if you can increase it to 135. You got to give them a number or say percentage. Build a relationship, guys, and don't be afraid to speak up. Matter of fact, that leads me to my next one. Healthcare staffing agency is not for those who are afraid to hear no. It's not for those who are afraid to hear the word I'm sorry and just shut you out. You are going to hear some no, so prepare yourself. That's what business is all about. It doesn't matter what business you start, you're going to hear the word no many times. And it does not mean anything. No means, you know what the word no means? No means it's okay, come back and check with me a couple weeks from now. So never allow yourself to be deflated because someone says no to you on a phone call. You're still going to go back to that person. How do you discover the hidden treasure in healthcare staffing? You will discover the hidden treasure that lies in healthcare staffing if you are one of those who have decided to follow the steps that we talk about and work it and be consistent with it. Because one thing that I say didn't work, that doesn't mean you're going to throw it to the window. You have to work it. You have to understand that there's so much information out there, but stick to what works. And I'm not a traditional person either when it comes to this. I'm non-traditional because I'm working what I see working. I'm teaching what I've used and what I've seen worked, and what my colleagues who are successful tells me to work for them, and what decision makers discuss with me. Healthcare staffing agency, you will discover the hidden treasure in healthcare staffing agency if you have a vision to succeed. Every single morning you get up and you have to have a vision to succeed. You have to speak positive words over your business. You have to declare that your business will be a success. You're going to declare and you're going to affirm that this business will be the best business around in the community. My business is going to grow. Don't speak anything negative. Even if you hear negative words about, oh, they are too expensive. They're too expensive. I'm not going to use this agency. You just speak nothing but positive words over your business. Pray over your business. Speak great things over your business. Say your business is going to shine. Your business is going to elevate. You are going to get contracts today. Don't wake up and say, oh my God, for me, I don't want to call this place again because I bet you they're going to tell me no. Yep, they're going to tell you no because you already declare that they're going to tell you no. So when you get up in the morning, just know that and affirm yourself. Command those yeses and know that you're going to get some positive wins. I'm going to be successful today. This is going to be a great day. I'm going to call 6 hospitals and all 6 of them will give me a positive response. It is going to be good. You have to speak life into your life, guys. I'm not trying to be spooky or anything, but I'm just telling you the truth, what works. Healthcare staffing agency, those who discover the hidden treasure in healthcare staffing agency are those who will carve out 2 to 4 hours every day to work on their business. I'm not talking about working in your business. I'm talking about working on your business. And what do I mean by working on your business? Daily phone calls, daily follow-up, daily emails, daily hiring, daily credentialing your organization, your nurses and your healthcare professionals. When I say daily credentialing them, always reviewing them and see who is missing a CPR BLS card, who is missing their nursing license, whose nursing license expired, who doesn't have their ACLS, who doesn't have their PALS, who doesn't have their flu vaccine, who doesn't have their immunization test, who doesn't have their drug screen, who doesn't have their background check. Every single day you're going to work on credentialing your people. You don't want any surprises. All of a sudden the nurse is getting ready to go to the organization to work, and you hear the nurse say, oh, my BLS is expired. That happens. That is why I said daily working on your credentialing. Babysit those things. You're like, make it like this is part of your life. Those who believe that they have the power to get wealth, healthcare staffing agency, those who discover the hidden treasure are those who are going to carve out every day 2 to 4 hours and daily to work on your business. And remember what I say, working on your business is what? Calling organizations, emailing them, following up, hiring nurses, posting on social media, networking outside. Know where your clients are and network with them. It doesn't matter if they're on Zoom or wherever they are, know where they are. And don't be afraid, guys, to hear no. Practice your speech. Practice your speech. Some of you may have a little bit of difficulty calling the human resource department. Practice your speech and present it to them. They're not going to, they're just human beings. They're going to just say yes or no, or put you on to the next person. But get into the habit of letting go and start making those phone calls. There are people out there whose business is ready in this group. Your business is ready. Your license is ready. Everything is ready, but you are making excuses. People are making excuses that they don't have this, they don't have that. You need to start get with the program, guys. Everything is not going to be perfect before you start calling. Everything is not going to be perfect. Those who will make calls and send out emails daily will discover the hidden treasure in healthcare staffing. Those who are ready to shut the fear up and do it afraid. I got this shut the fear up from one of my colleagues. She said, shut the fear up and do it afraid. Those who are ready to ditch that fear, do it afraid, and step out there. Don't listen to what people tell you that, oh, this hospital does not use agency. Yes, they do. This hospital is not gonna, the agency nurses done working. Yes, they do. So I want you to know that. And this week, if you have not launched this week, I challenge you to launch your staffing agency this week, as long as you have all your licensure in place. And what do I mean by launching? Publicize it, publish it, advertise it, start marketing it. Everything you do in your business, you're actually marketing your business. Everything you do, you're actually marketing your business. You have to market your business. When you talk about it, you market your business. If you write the name of your business in the chat group, you are marketing your business. Some people are afraid to even put out their website link. What are we afraid of? Nothing. You are marketing, guys. If your name is out there, you are marketing. Listen, there's no shyness or being afraid when it comes to business. I've never seen a business owner make millions of dollars, hundreds of dollars, and they're afraid to talk their business name. So I'm saying this to you guys. This is the time. This is the time for you to step out there. Healthcare staffing is not for the weak. Healthcare staffing is not for those who are afraid. Now I can see you all. Okay, so anybody want to come from behind the veil, you can do that. But it's nice to see all these beautiful faces. So guys, this is what I want to say to you. Just take responsibility for your business, your baby. Don't have a whole lot of stuff going on, like 6, 7, 8 businesses, and guess what? Nothing is working. Because I have some people out there with 5 businesses and they're still thinking, well, I wonder if they should start going back to work. They're not making any money. Don't, it's not about posting pretty posts on social media. There are people out there who's posting pretty posts. Guys, what people are making pretty posts. You know what you should be doing? You should be posting checks. As I told somebody the other day, I don't have any time to be on social media every single hour and every single day. I'm on social media. But while people are posting every three times a day and 4 times, I'm posting checks in the bank. That's what you need to say. I see you, Leonie. But it's the truth. Well, she found the point, but it's true. But while, hey, how are you? While people are posting junk and getting involved in everything and impeachment and all these things and digging stuff up, election is over. You already voted. You decided either you won or you didn't win. It's okay. Just leave it alone. You know. Yes, we need to know what's going on, but don't juice everything that's going on around us. While people are out there fighting about politics, you should be in Bank of America, Chase Bank, and Wells Fargo posting some checks. That's all I got to say to you. So don't worry about all these beautiful flyers that are around. I want action. Execute. You don't have to be perfect. Execute and make it happen. God has given you the power to get wealth, guys. Utilize it. It's no joke when He tell you that He has given you the power to be successful. It's in your hands. God said to Moses one time, what is in your hand? Use what is in your hand. And Moses was making all these excuses. Oh, I have this in my hand, I have that in my hand. And the Lord said, throw it on the floor, on the ground. Moses threw it on the ground. And the Lord said, pick it up. He picked it up. And it continues to change. It changed from a staff to a snake and from a snake to a staff. I don't know the entire story, but that is the story in Exodus. But I'm just saying that God said to Moses, what is in your hands? What He actually saying that utilize what He has placed in your hands. We are nurses and we have gotten a lot of experience. Some of us have gone to school for many years, and you may not be using all you have taught in school in the master's program or in doctoral program, but guess what? You are using your experience, your knowledge, your education, your expertise will make it happen. Use what's in your hand, guys. You can do it. All right. So what I want to do before my speakers come on board, I don't see any of them yet, which is good. I know what one of them going to be dropping by about 8. Louis is going to be dropping by about 8:30, maybe here. But before, Louis, you're here.
Hi, Dr. Francis. It's me, Louis. How are you?
Good to see you. I did not say, oh, I thought you weren't here yet. I was going to have them.
I was listening to your speech. That was excellent. I'm ready to work. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready.
Right. So here's the thing. Since you're here, Louis, I'm going to be having you ladies, just share some things about your business. But since Louis is here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have you speak, share about your company, Paychex. Louis, just tell me a bit about yourself, Louis. He's from Paychex, and I utilize Paychex for my platform for payroll. I love it. I just started this January, and I know he can share with you some things about workers' comp and anything else that he has to share with you, and you can ask him any question that you have to ask, Louis. I'm so happy that you're here, Louis. Welcome. This is my team, and they're excited to have you.
Thank you so much. This is great. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
So
are you going to need a slide? You don't have a slide, right? I just want to just share.
I do. I was going to screen share.
Remember that you only have 10 to 15 minutes. So go, right?
I'll make it quick, okay? So let me just start off by introducing myself. My name is Louis Chacho. I work for Paychex. Paychex is a human capital management company. So basically, we're helping with employers with everything from hire to retire. But the main thing I wanted to talk with you about is your individual business, okay? So, I understand that you're in the healthcare industry, and you're basically a 1099. Are we all 1099s here?
Some are 1099, some are W-2, not all.
And now the ones that are W-2s, do you have your own company or your own LLC set up?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, with an LLC, it's a limited liability company, meaning that there's certain insurances that you need to provide in order to, do business. Those things, are, personal liability, general liability insurances that you must have in place in order to, continue to do business. And, that's something that Paychex can help you out on. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is how you are taking distributions from your company or revenue from your company. So I have together a little slide and I'm going to pull it up. And actually, I just used this slide share on a similar, WebEx or Teams group that I use for about 16 real estate agents that were all doing the same thing, but I wanted to tell them how to save more money with taxes. So we're going to go ahead and share this screen. Okay. So I am a tax professional. My expertise is teaching, people how to save money by sheltering taxes and doing your business taxes the right way. So the thing I wanted to talk to you about today is an S corporation. You all might be LLCs and have your own business, but the way to beat FICA taxes, I'm sure you're aware that you have to pay, a lot of taxes when you go to file your 1099 at the end of the year, right? You all have to pay money at the end of the year when you file as a 1099. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is how we can minimize that, okay? And structure your business where you're making more money and less in taxes. So, let me show you the S corporation, and let me just minimize this real quick so I can get into the actual slideshow. Okay, so what is an S corporation? Basically, it's a subchapter corporation. This is what we call flow through, and it's all going to make sense in just a minute. Okay, this is what we call flow through business. This is a tax structure that enables you to run a payroll, take the benefits of running a payroll, but also use things like gas, mileage for a car, office expenses, all are tax deductible, all act as a tax benefit for you at the year end. So you're paying less in taxes. And this is the same thing we're doing for Dr. Francis right now. Okay. And it's,
Can I
it's
ask you a
great.
question, Louis? If I want
Yes.
you to take them into more of insurance, because the next speaker that's going to be coming out from accountant, she's going to touch some taxes, and I really want you to focus on mainly your time with the insurance company. I mean the workers' comp as much as possible. I mean,
Okay. No problem. We'll just go to the
right, because I know that's one of the things that is so desperate.
absolute. No, that's fine. Let me just get to my little. Can you all see this?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so one of the things that you're going to need if you decide to incorporate yourself and run a business, here in the state of Florida, we don't have any state tax. But what we do have is you have to have workers' compensation. A lot of the vendors, a lot of the homes, a lot of the hospitals, that you're going into require that you have to have a workers' compensation policy. And in order to have a workers' compensation policy, you have to basically run as payroll. Has anybody here had a workers' comp policy before or ever heard about it? Basically, it's to protect yourself, protect your employees in case anybody gets hurt on the job. But the way it works is that you run a payroll, okay, for yourself, and the workers' comp premium is based on the amount of payroll that you're running. And the state calls the code, which basically says that you're classified under a certain industry where you get that code, and that's the percent of premium that you pay. So say if you pay yourself $100,000 a year, okay, you're going to pay, let's just say 4 to 6% on that $100,000, and that's what a policy looks like. It's probably going to be a lot less since you're working in less dangerous environments. You know what I mean? So there's less likely of a chance for you to get injured. But basically, that is how workers' comp works, is that it's paid on a percentage of payroll. And if you are working with certain vendors, okay, they're going to require you to have a COI. or a certificate of insurance. So if you decide to hire employees and have employees underneath you, or you're working with a specific, home agency or like that, you can talk to me and we can help you set that up. But basically, workers' comp, you have to run a payroll for yourself. You have to have at least 3 employees, or there's certain circumstances that you would have to, have it just for yourself.
I have a question.
So,
Louis.
yep.
All right. What if someone started with, say, 3-4 employees, and the quote is, what kind of quote would you give them? Would the quote be based up on their payroll, the number of checks that they run on a weekly basis, or how is the quote? How are we doing it now?
So what is it that everybody is doing? What's the actual nature of, what are they doing day to day? What's the job look like?
No, I mean, I'm saying, no, like you have three nurses. You're a nurse, and you send the nurse to the hospital. These are nurses that they're hiring, and you send the nurses to the organization, and these are W-2. They're not independent contractors. And say we hire 3 nurses and we work them for 2 weeks. But as time goes by, we are going to increase the number of W-2s. We are going to increase the number of workers. My question to Paychex is this:
I understand.
How much? Yeah. What kind of quote would you give, and at what point can they change the rate? That kind of a thing.
So it does. It's not a set rate. It's a percentage of the payroll. So say if you have 3 nurses and they're all making $60,000 a year, they get charged based on the actual payroll that they run. Okay, so 3 times 6, $180,000. That it's a percentage. So I don't have the actual code that the state would give them, but from my best practices, I would say it's probably around a 4 to 6% rate for a nurse. So basically, for every $100 you pay in payroll, you're paying $4 for a workers' comp policy, and that's not Paychex calling the shots. That is the state of Florida. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, because I think one of the things that we want to find out is that what kind of quote, if, for example, if my team decides to go with Paychex and they have a very low volume staff, I want to know how is Paychex doing it now as far as the quote that they'll give them versus the quote for later on when they have increased staff. Are they quoting them based on the lower the payroll is the lower the quote is, and the higher the payroll is, and like, that's my point. Like, if you have any numbers with you or anything like that, maybe you don't, but that's one of the things I wanted to find out.
No, so we would have to do a census. We'd have to take the census to an underwriter. The underwriter would come back with the approval that you're going to retain coverage, and that's how it would be set. But in order for us to do the workers' comp, general liability and personal liability, you have to be using a payroll. You have to show a payroll. So if you don't have a payroll, if you're not filing a 941 and RT6, which are the quarterly returns you need to file, you can't have a workers' compensation quote. So just an estimation, if you're have a nurse that is, I don't know, making 60 to 80 grand a year, it's sort of a lower bracket. So I would say anywhere from to $2,000 to $3,000 range a year. So they would break that up over monthly cycle. So that's what you would pay for a policy. But later, if you have a big employee count and you have nurses going into a hospital, you're going to have it. And if you don't have it, I see this all the time, the state will come to your place of business and shut you down until you get the policy. It's a law here in the state of Florida. You have to have it. Special general liability. If you have an LLC, you should look into something that I can help you out with. But based on to provide you with a quote, I would have to look at your financials. It's something that I can't just give a figure out.
So
You
what
know,
if somebody want to contact, because I mean, I know I've been working with Connor and some of the other things, not with insurance, but from the payroll, and I've been talking with him. What if somebody want to get in touch with your team as far as the knowing and understanding more about the workers' comp and the quote? Who should they contact?
they should contact me. I
Oh,
would just do a census of their business. I would ask for their federal EIN number, the name of their business, what
okay.
they're running in an annual payroll. I would take this, give it to my underwriter, and he or she would provide me with a quote. So
Oh,
it's a bit like health insurance.
okay.
Right.
There needs to be a census ran. Yeah.
I
I
have
have
a
a
question,
question for
Eva.
you.
Yeah.
Somebody have a
So
question?
you said it's based off our annual, we're startup, so we don't know what our annual is yet, or have ran, some of us haven't ran a business. The business hasn't been around a year to give you an annual. So are you going off of hypothetical numbers where we think it
You would give us an estimate. You would give us an estimate in what you plan to run. And the premiums, since we do a pay-as-you-go structure, if your payroll is, let's say lower than what you originally gave me, you're going to pay less money. So like I said, for every $100 you pay yourself, it's about, $3 to $4 in policy.
Okay, so it's weekly. So if we running a weekly payroll, y'all basically taking our weekly or whatever we did pushed out. So if we only spend
We would,
20,000, if we only spend 20,000 in that week, y'all will only take 2 to 4% of that to go
yeah,
to the workers' comp. Okay.
yeah, we would do a deduction. So yeah, we would run your payroll. It would be an all-inclusive package. We would do all your taxes. I was talking about the 941s and RT6s. In order for you to be a W-2, you got Medicare, Social Security, federal income tax coming out of your pay, and you would see another line item like workers' comp in there.
Okay.
Um,
Great. Leon, you
So
have
basically, I'm helping businesses. I do startup businesses all the time, and I'm a consultant rather than I am an insurance agent.
yeah.
I'm giving you, telling you what you need to do in order to fall in compliance. So my expertise is taxes, and I do workers' comp on the side because they go hand in hand. But I do much more than that. If you want, health insurance, 401k, I do it all. But if you're a startup company, get your taxes in line, get incorporated, and then talk to me about general liability and the insurances you have to have. So if you wanted to contact me, I'm sure Dr. Francis can provide my information, my email. Call me day or night. I'll give you a free consultation. I'll just tell you what's right and wrong to do, and I'll help you maximize your taxes. I'm basically an unlicensed CPA. That's what Paychex is.
Okay, why don't you drop it in the chat?
Yeah.
I think Leon, somebody has a question.
I had a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you with with Paychex, what's like the fees that you guys charge? Is
So
there a fee
we're a
per
very a la carte service. Absolutely, we're a very a la carte service. So I would do, a questionnaire with you to find out what you're doing. But since you are all startups, I would just put you on basic payroll right now, and that would probably run you in the $60 to $70 a month range, just for owner-only packages, which you currently are. And then once you start becoming profitable, once you start hiring in more employees, the price is going to go up, but because we're going to have to add more features to that.
Yeah. I want to add to that I use Paychex started using Paychex since January. Last year, I used Intuit QuickBooks, and I love Paychex for payroll. I use them for payroll only for now. I'm looking at using them for other services, but we love it, love it, love it. We have our representative work so well with us. If we are super busy, and we can just send the payroll Excel spreadsheet to them, and they enter payroll for any number of nurses that we want to enter, and and then you check off before you it's approved. And let me tell you, they're so 100% accurate. I really, really love the way they do it. But what I wanted to say is that Louis, I don't know if you have any information on, you don't have any information on the funding for payroll, right? If not, we just have to, because that's another question that I think that was come up later.
For funding, if you wanted to start the payroll, so basically I just asked for a couple things. One of them is a voided business check. Got to have some type of operating account. If you don't know, which bank to use, I work with all the local banks, and I can provide you with a banker that can help you out. I'm in a lot of networking groups, so I pretty much have somebody for everything. You just send me I would provide you a W-2, a direct deposit sheet. I would call the IRS and get your federal EIN number, which you're going to need. And then I'm going to have to register you with the Department of Revenue in the state of Florida for your state reemployment tax. And that's all things that I'm handling for you. You don't have to worry about those things. Let you focus on what you do best, and let me handle all the nerdy stuff, okay? All the numbers, I can help, with the payroll things, So basically, it's just having a business operating account, and then you're good to go. To be able, go ahead.
I will say, are you still you're going to be able to help the ones that's not in the state of Florida? Not all of us are from Florida.
Yep, I'm a national company.
Okay.
So I know, Florida, we don't have any state tax, but where are you?
Michigan.
Michigan. So Michigan does have state tax. So things like that, you got to apply for down the road. Okay. If you're going to do an LLC and then hire employees, you're going to have to do those things down the road. If you don't, you run into problem. And I've seen it, all the time. There's two things I like to say that are certain: death and taxes. And good old Uncle Sam's going to get that money. Let me tell you. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Louis. And anyone, I have Louis' contact information, guys. Let me know if you want to contact with him, if you want to connect with him further for any other services that Paychex does. And we take it from there. Well, Louis, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time and all the good gems that you have dropped and all the good things that you have taught us tonight. Okay?
Absolutely. Dr. Francis, thank you so much for the invitation. You ladies have a great night. Hope to see you soon.
Yes.
All
Thank you
righty.
so much. Okay, great.
Bye now.
Don't click out end. I don't want you to, let me take off this thing. The last time, I want to make sure that, okay, so. All right. Are we back, guys? Thank you. That was a great talk from Louis about, and if anyone wants his phone number or his contact number, just make sure that you connect with me and I will certainly share that with you. All right, I know that we have Angie's going to be coming shortly, but I want to say this real quickly before Angie gets here. Yes, I will be doing a giveaway. I will be doing a giveaway. Who's this? Angie. I'm trying to get Angie to come in. I saw her. I will be doing a giveaway to you guys because we've been talking about billing. We have been talking about contracts. We have been talking about all these great things that you will be doing, guys. Listen, I know that some of you, maybe one or two of you, have been reaching out to organizations already. Now, if you do not know what to say with the organization, this startup guide at the back, it has a script. Please study the script like you're in university, like you're in school. Tweak the script and use it. It works for me. It works for many. It's not a rocket science. You can tweak the script. It's right there. You just call. If on this channel tonight, I may not have the time to do any more practice role play, but if you feel uncomfortable, like I did with a couple of my team last week, if you feel uncomfortable, role play on a one-on-one with me, and that will work. Some of you don't need it because you're a pro, but some of you need the role play. Connect with me, and we have every script of what to say is at the back of this book here, is at the end of this as a part of the resource. At least literally everything you need is there anyway. All right, the things that you need to credential your staff and so on. Now, moving forward, I know that many of us are heading into launch. Don't wait for a pretty website to launch. No one cares about a pretty website. They care, let me tell you, the leaders, hey Angie, the leaders that you are going to reach out to, guys, here's what they care about. They care about how professional your organization is. They care about who are you sending to my organization to work. They want to make sure the nurse is qualified. She's credentialed. She gets there on time. She knows her stuff. She knows how to take care of her patients. Yes, your website's supposed to look good, but don't spend a whole lot of time saying, I can't get my contract because my website is not ready. No, to me, that's a cop-out. So here's what it's a cop out. I see some people laughing and they're guilty, but let me let me tell you this. This week, I want you to reach out. I have a gift or an offer for anyone, for one of you this week or next week. The first person to get a contract, a yes, you don't you just a contract. Not even for them to start calling, asking about nurses. The first person to get the contract, that person must post that contract that, I got a contract, post it on the Facebook page. You're going to get a whopping $50 gift certificate from Amazon, from Healthcare Staffing University. From Healthcare Staffing University, you're going to get a whopping $50 gift certificate from Amazon just for them to say yes to you. But guess what? No, the first person who send out a staff to work is going to get a whopping $150 gift certificate from Amazon. Listen, guys, this is good. So if you are the first person to get a yes from Memorial, you are the first person to get a yes from one of the hospice space, you are the first person to get a yes from Holy Cross, you are the first person to get a yes from Michigan General, you are the first person to get a yes from a hospital in Jersey, a hospital in Alabama. Where else we have? Hospital in, where is Anna from again? Hannah is from Virginia. If you are the first person, you're going to get a $50 gift certificate from Amazon, from our company, from the university. And if you get the first leader, the first business owner to send out a nurse to get a call and say, send me a CNA, or send me an ICU nurse, or send me an ER nurse, that person is going to get $150 gift certificate from Amazon. So let me see who is going to get it. If you think you're going to get it, put your hands up. Yeah! I see a lot of people look like they're ready to get it. So it doesn't matter what state you're from, whether you're from Michigan, Jersey, Alabama, Virginia, New York, Florida, you get it, post it and brag about it. Post it and brag about it. Because you know what, guys, when you post that thing out there, post that contract there in the Facebook page, you know what that's going to do? That's going to encourage somebody. It's not that hard. It's going to encourage someone. And if you are ready to start making your calls and you need to do some practicing or whatever, please, guys, call me and I can connect with you and I know my calendar gets busy at times, but please just text me and I can work out a schedule or work out a spot on my calendar and we can discuss it as much as possible. But please don't leave here tonight as the last week, as the last night. Don't leave here tonight and just park what you have learned and just drop the ball. You have to go all the way. A healthcare staffing agency owner will discover the hidden secret of healthcare staffing agency when they are consistent with everything that they learn. Don't drop the ball on me. Don't drop the ball, guys. So at this point, I'm going to ask, Angie is here. I know Angie since she was a little baby, seriously, a little baby. Hello. And she'll tell you about her company name and what she has to bring. But this girl is smart. She taught me a lot of stuff. So she's going to just give us a quick down and dirty as to how to make your business, maybe should I say IRS proof, or make it legal, really legal, so you don't get into any issues. And please ask Angie any question you want. I want Angie to be as quick as possible to summarize the package that she has for you guys and to talk with you. How can you make your business 100% correct? So that, yes, isn't that the topic? Correct. Make it. Yes. Yeah. So she's ready and she is going to be sharing with you. Thanks, Angie, for coming. Even though it's yeah, I appreciate you coming at this time. I wish I could give me a lot more time, but thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you for having me, Dr. Eva. And I love your energy. It's like 9 o'clock and you're like, woohoo, let's go. So I'll make my presentation somewhat condensed. And once again, I am Angela Colley. I am the owner and the CEO of AFC Accounting and Tax Services. And we help businesses keep and grow their money by providing money management and tax planning solutions. And we saw that a lot of businesses, they knew how to earn the money, but they weren't keeping it and they were not growing it. So we offer skills and we offer different tax solutions in order to help business owners. So 5 tips I want to share with the group. And these are tips to start and to manage a successful business. And the first tip is to register your business with the state. And this will save you in regards to asset protection, meaning that when you go to the state and register it as a LLC or a corporation, God forbid, if anything happens to you and you're sued, they cannot touch your personal assets. They can only touch the assets of the business. And I recommend a limited liability company only because the state requires less record keeping than a corporation. So for smaller business owners, it's easier to file for the LLC. And then after you register with the state, I recommend getting an EIN number with the IRS. And I had a business owner and she formed her LLC, but she never got an EIN number. And an EIN number is basically the social security number for the business in so many words. So step 1 would be to form a limited liability company or a corporation. Step 2 is to get your EIN. And step 3 is to open up your business bank account and do not commingle funds, meaning that you should not be using your business account for personal expenses, because once again, if you ever sued and if the complaining party can show that you are somewhat mixing those funds, they can once again go and try to seize your personal assets, be it your home, your car. So once again, keep business as business and personal as personal. And when you open up that account, most banks require your articles of incorporation from the state saying that you are a legal business in the state, and also the IRS EIN number. And 4th is to make sure that you have an accounting or bookkeeping software or system. I had a lot of businesses that came to us and they wanted to apply for the PPP. However, they didn't have books, their tax returns were not done, and they missed out on grants. They missed out on money that could have been given to them had they had their financial their financial statements in order. And it's very affordable. And we offer every single service that I'm mentioning as far as, making your business legal in the state, getting your EIN number, the bookkeeping, we offer that. And lastly, if you begin to make money, let's just say that you're profitable and you're raking in the money, I would recommend forming an S Corp. Does anyone know what an S Corp is on the call here?
Well, so I have an LLC, but my friend told me that I should do my taxes filing as an S Corp.
Right, but in order to do that, you have to fill out form 2553 with the IRS. Okay, great. And they have to approve it. And like right now, I remember back in July, the IRS had 37 million unopened letters in correspondence. So what used to take 30 days back in the day because of COVID, now it takes like 9 months. However, it is retroactive, but I definitely recommend the S Corp. And the reason why is because if you have an LLC and you have a profit, you have to pay self-employment taxes and income taxes. However, if you have an S Corp, you can save thousands of dollars because the self-employment tax component is somewhat waived. Now, once you begin to make even more money having an S Corp, you have to take a salary, but that's down the line. But very smart. What's your name? Revon?
Rayvon.
Revon, very smart that you have the S Corp. Once again, saved $1,000. Just a quick story. I had a client, she had an LLC, was getting her taxes done by someone that was not familiar with the S Corp, owed $9,000. And once again, it's just that lack of knowledge. So in conclusion, we don't just, do the books. We don't just do the tax returns. We actually help our clients keep and grow their money. And also, we also have a vehicle to where you can begin to invest for your retirement, be a, a solo 401k and different, investment vehicles. So just wanted to drop these quick tips to the group. And if I went too fast, or if you have any questions, Dr. Eva has my phone number, email address. And if you have any questions, if you don't feel comfortable with asking, in front of the group, feel free to reach out and we're here to help.
I got one.
Yes.
The PPE, we are a new entity. We don't qualify, correct?
Correct. You had to have been in business as of February 15th of 2020 in order to qualify.
Or when?
February the 15th, 2020. So were you in business last year, February?
When you say in business, if it's legitimized LLC then?
Right, meaning that you were registered with the state and that if they go look at your articles of organization, it'll be an effective establishment date of your business of February the 15th.
Oh, okay.
So if you had that, then you should qualify for it. However, for the second PPP, there's additional criteria to where you have to show a 25% decrease in your gross sales. So they didn't have that for the first PPP, but for the second one, you will have to show a 25% decrease quarter over quarter last year. So like, for example, if you had $100 first quarter and you had, let's just say $30 second quarter, then you qualify. But you have to show them that you qualified via your profit and loss statement. And if you don't have your profit and loss, they are taking your bank statements, in order to show that proof.
Okay, great. I have a question, Angie.
Yes.
Angie, if all of my team here, some of them are not new business owners, but many of them are brand spanking new business owners. All right, as far as payment of your taxes and all these, what's the recommendation as to the frequency of the paying of the taxes? Because I really want all of us to be 100% compliant. So if you could shed some light on the quarterly tax so that everyone can know. Yes.
Yes, as far as your quarterly taxes go, if you filed your taxes last year and if you owed $1,000 or more, then you are required to file estimated tax payments. So let's just say that you completed your tax return and your tax was, let's just say $1,000. You would have to pay the quarterly taxes.
And that's your business tax, right? You're talking about your business tax.
Yes, for the business. Now, if you are a corporation, if you owed $500, then you are required to file the quarterly. For S corps and LLCs, it's $1,000. So let's just say that that your business had a loss last year, then you're not required to file the subsequent year. However, I would just recommend to the group to file anyway the quarterlies, because what you don't want to do is come to the end of the year and then you owe. And that's why it's also important to have your profit and loss, because we on a monthly basis let you know where you stand tax wise, meaning that we do the books, we have your profit or your loss, and we let you know, okay, as of March 31st you may owe $2,000. Let's get a plan to put it away so that you can manage your cash flow. Because what you don't want to do is make all this money and then have a $10,000 tax bill and it impedes your cash flow. So, and it's very simple to set up your payments online. IRS, I heard that some of you are from Virginia, so that's another tax requirement that the state have. And for the states, it's different as far as their requirements, as far as the payments that they require. But definitely, Dr. Eva, I would recommend, setting up those accounts that can be done Internal Revenue Service. We also offer that service because we have clients and they pay some of them as little as, $100 every quarter. It's just getting in the habit of, doing that. And just another tip, I also recommend having a separate bank account for your taxes, meaning that the rule of thumb is that, let's just say for every $1,000 you earn, at least 20% should be set aside for taxes. Yep. And then if you don't need it at the end of the year, then take it and invest it. It's a savings.
Mhm.
A question then. If I open up a business bank account and I open up a checking and a savings, the checking could be for the business and then the savings could be for the business taxes.
Correct. There you go. And then, if you owe, you just, transfer that money from the savings to the business and pay it, or you can do it on a quarterly basis and do it that way. So let's just say you begin saving in January, February, come March, you take that money and put it, into that account for the Internal Revenue Service or your State Department of Revenue.
Guys, Angie is a CPA and she's really very versed in this whole thing of business, law, business, accounting, business taxes. Any other questions for Angie? And if you are, do you help clients out of the state, Angie, out of the state of Florida?
Yes, we are a remote-based business. We have offices here in Florida, but since the COVID, we are doing business really 100% remote, and we have a secure cloud-based portal. So if we need to transact business, we have a secure portal. Instead of sending information via email, you can have your own personal hub. And we are a national accounting CPA firm.
Good.
How
I
much
want to
is
say
it?
that, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was asking her how much is her, like how much is it to affiliate ourselves to have you or bring you on our team as a CPA?
Yes, and it's very affordable, so surprisingly, and it depends on the volume of your transactions. Like, for example, I have one client, they have 15 bank accounts and it's like 17 accounts that we have to reconcile. Of course, we wouldn't charge someone that just have one the same fee. So we start based on your transactions, and I can speak with you offline, just ask personal questions to see how many transactions you have. But let's just say if you only have, let's just say 50 transactions per month, you can even get our services on a quarterly basis, and that fee would be tremendously reduced. So it just depends on the size of your business and how many hours we would have to work in order to do the accounting services for you. But if you're small, just starting out, once again, it'd be way less than our other bucks that we do for our other clients.
Do you have a direct price for if I wanted to have you file a PPE on my behalf? Is it like a flat fee or is it based on industries? Or
now for the PPP is $250, and that's only because we charge, just to be totally transparent. Initially, we charge $150 for the application. However, there's another piece where you have to show them that 25% reduction, and you got to reference the bank statement, reference the profit and loss statement, and that takes time. But even $250 is somewhat affordable compared to other firms that I've heard that complete the applications. But we wanted to somewhat offer the service at a reduced fee because these businesses need the money. So it's like sort of our contribution, during this time.
So if someone wants the PPP to file, they just contact you, Angie. You just contact your company.
Yes, and we have to make sure that they qualify first. Not sure if the group already has books, if they have profit and loss. And if you have an S corp, you will have to have your payroll reports, like your Form 940, unemployment, your 941s, in order to qualify. If you have an LLC and that's all you have, that hasn't been, an S corp election, then they only require your Schedule C from 2019 or 2020. So it depends on how your company is set up as far as what's required.
Okay, great. So if you guys are looking for a CPA who is professional, smart, I told you about this girl, and ready to really get your finances in order, that's the girl you need to connect with, Angie. Please, guys. I mean, I know Angie, I know your family, and this girl is quality. I know her since she's a little baby girl. I'm telling you, not give away my age, but man, I'm telling you, I respect her and her family so much. And I really think that this is someone that can really work closer with our team when it comes to our healthcare staffing university or other teams. I'm going to have Angie speak to other groups that I have, and I know that she will be of value to us, and she will add a lot of value, financial value to our professional lives and to our businesses. So must say that, any more questions, guys? Any other questions for Angie? If not, I want to say, Angie, thank you so much. I appreciate your
Welcome.
time. And we're talking, I get some nice pictures of you. I'm going to
Hi.
post them.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks.
Okay, take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. See ya.
Okay, guys. So the last few minutes we have, I just want to open it for any questions that you have. Any questions? I was going to let you guys present your business and share anything that's blocking your launch, or what's the hold up if there's anything. But I just want to open it for Q&A. Instead of that, let me just go for gallery view to see everyone. Let's get some Q&A, and I'm going to start from, I mean, it's going to open. I'm not going to pick on anyone. I know that some of you are still behind the veil. Barbara, you're behind the veil, but you can still ask a question. Miss White, ask a question. Miss Ladina, you ask a question. Nyambi asks questions. I need to hear from you guys. Anything that you need to, this is our last week formally, but this is not really our last week. We're going to continue. Please, guys, share on the chat box, share your wins, share your questions, keep it active. Share your testimonies if you have any questions or anything like that. If you really want, still don't feel like you're confident enough to start launching or asking for contracts or agreement or whatever. If you need, like the agreement that I sent you, the contract, I know you have to tweak it to send out to organizations, but I would say tweak it and have your professional, a legal person take a look at it, because each state is different. I use it to get several contracts, and I'm fine with it, but you can make different changes as much as you want. The template for the policy, even though that may not be finished, guy, but don't wait until everything is 100% ready before you start reaching out to organizations. This is the week for you to start reaching out, and that is why I'm giving this away, this incentive of $150 gift certificate to Amazon. The person who get the first contract, I don't care if it's a CNA gonna go to an hospice for 1 single hour, you're still getting the $150, because at least you break the ice.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't care if they said send a CNA to go to hospice for 2 hours, you're still getting the $150. So again, please reach out and get this prize. Please reach out and start your agency. And then when you get a contract on one organization, you keep going, you keep moving. Do we have anyone here in the group that actually started reaching out to any company?
I have.
Actually make a call. You started, share your experience. Who have you don't have to tell us the name of the company, but tell us what you have done. As far as
what I've done is I called 2 companies, because I have good relationships with them. And then, well, actually they're hospice. So I have a meeting with one of them next week, but the only problem I have, I don't have my license yet. The whole week this week, I was having problems getting the professional liability insurance, but thank God for Shein. She actually helped me and gave me her web. So I'm so happy. Thank you so much. So I finally got it, and I shipped my application to ACA. So I'm done with that. But I have a meeting with one of the hospice reps next week. And then I spoke to one yesterday, but I don't have the license yet. So as soon as I get it, she said to call her so I could get a contract.
You made the license already? The application?
I already mailed it.
Okay.
I already mailed it.
All right. So that's good. That's
fine. So I've been reaching out to different companies to tell them, what I'm doing and stuff. I got my website ready. I'm working on my contracts. I'm tweaking everything now, getting all my policies, procedures, everything now. So that's what I'm going to be working on tomorrow.
Perfect. So working on it every day. Who else reached out to somebody this week, or actually make the call? Anyone made the call? Don't be afraid.
This pretty much, I don't know, one of the facilities around here, they just gave us, I don't know, like the run. It was like a big runaround.
What did you say?
I said I made a call, but it was like a big runaround. Then they was on break, and they haven't returned the call yet. But
who did you ask to speak to?
The human resources, and then the human resources said they wasn't a decision maker, so it was somebody else, and that person was in the meeting, and then that person never came back, out of the meeting.
Okay, so be specific, guys, when you're calling. If you're calling, start with the HR. You're gonna introduce yourself. and you're going to say you're calling from Brilliant Staffing Agency or Brilliant Healthcare Staffing Company. And once you tell them that you are calling, even if it's the operator, you tell, listen, my name is Eva Francis and I'm calling from Brilliant Healthcare Staffing Agency. I want to speak to the health HR director to discuss staffing. They're not going to say no. Here's why, because the whole hospital go to a meeting every morning to discuss staffing. So everyone knows that staffing is an issue. And even if you're speaking to the operator, my name is Eva Francis, I want to speak to the director of HR to discuss staffing or to discuss ICU staffing, to discuss med-surg staffing. You're going to make it personal and you have to be specific. And when they transfer you there, if their secretary answers, you're going to ask and tell them who you are again 3, 4, 5 times and ask, may I have the director's email number? I would like to send some information to the director about our healthcare staffing company. They will give you the email because staffing is one of the biggest things. Every morning, organization leaders get together in a group in nursing office called huddle. Or if it's a nursing home or whether it's a hospital. They have a huddle meeting every 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And some hospitals have it twice. Joint Commission requires that. That's mandatory from Joint Commission and CMS. So every organization will do it. And what they're actually doing, they're collaborating each discipline. Even a project manager is here. So a project manager, a CEO, the directors of nursing, the leaders, everyone is on the same page as far as the needs of the organization, and staffing is a big deal. So if you say you're calling from the staffing company and you want to discuss staffing with the HR director, somebody is going to give you an answer and you get the email and then you can start following up with the email. If they said, no, we don't have anything to do with the decision making here in HR, let me transfer you to the nursing supervisor. You get the transfer to the supervisor and you start again and say, hi, nursing supervisor, my name is such and such. I'm calling from Brilliant Healthcare Staffing Agency. I would like to speak with you about staffing. We have some amazing, some caring and compassionate seasoned nurses here on our staffing pool. And I'd like to know if you are in need of any supplemental or per diem staffing to assist you in patient care. Sometimes if you're awake at night, you can call the nursing supervisor. I tell you, I get so many good, great responses by calling night nursing supervisor. Why? Night nursing supervisors many times they are stressed out. And if you call a nursing home and ask for the nursing supervisor, they will take your number and your name and pass it on to the CNO in the morning in report. Because most CNOs are going to get a report from the night supervisor. Most CNOs are going to get a report because they want to know what's going on. They want to know what's the details, what went on last night, what's going on. And they will actually pass. And by the way, last night I was here and it was so crazy. And let me tell you, it's a staffing. It's, oh my God, we can't get nurses. But this agency from Pembroke Pines or this agency from the street called me and said they have some great nurses. So you may want to check them out. Here's their email address or their number. It's the worst thing that can happen is that they're going to say no. So you can't, you have to make sure you call. All right. Who else called? Sheehan, you said you called?
Yes, I made 2 calls today. What they said was that I need to send them the email with basically about my company and what I can provide, and they would then discuss it. So I'm gonna see how that goes.
Good. And while you're waiting for that, you're gonna call some more people because
yeah.
That's exactly how it goes. Every day so now 2 weeks ago the homework was for you to list some places that you want to call. And I'm going to ask a couple of you guys, how many names, if I ask you today, Ladina, how many names you have listed that you're ready to call as soon as you have that license from Florida? How many names have you listed when you went on Medicare.gov from our last meeting? How many hospital names you have in your mind that you know that you have? Ladina, take yourself off mute. While I come back to you, Damali, how many names you have listed that you're going to call? You have their names, you have their phone number, you're ready to call them, you're just waiting for the licensure to start calling. How many names you have listed, Damali?
I have like 10 hospitals.
And you have their name and number ready to go.
I had their name. I had it. Well, I don't have their number ready to go, but it's a Google away for real. I know.
Right.
Yeah, I know which ones I want to reach out to first.
At least you have 10 names, which is good. But I want you guys to take it to another level. I want you guys to be ready and waiting. Say, listen, I am going to focus on all these hospitals or long-term care facilities around me. And I know that there's this hospital down in this place. And I'm going to put them on my list and I'm going to call. So you guys should have a list. Stacy, how many names you have ready to call? Stacy. Hey, Stacy. Stacy disappear?
Can I ask you a question about the staffing too? Next.
Somebody, who is that?
Damali.
Damali, yeah. Yes, Damali.
Okay, so yeah, I was trying to make sure. So per diem, PRN, and supplemental. So is that's like the same thing, right? Because
Yeah.
I think I have it listed on my website. I just want to make sure I'm being clear with, the type of staffing I offer.
Per diem and supplemental is really the same thing. What I'm trying to take you guys away from initially as a brand new staffing agency is to start worrying about travelers and contracts. It is not easy to set up yourself with travelers at this point. You're brand new. Iron out the kinks with supplemental. Supplemental means you hire two friends on their days off. They're full-time nurses and they have 4 days off. Because nurses today work 12 hours. They have 4 days off. Sit down with your friends and say, hey, you have 4 days off a week. I want to hire you for 2. So every 2, they give you 2 of their 4 or 1. Sometimes supplemental means the hospital is going to call you only when they need you. A lot of hospitals not going into contract all the time, and some of them want contracts. So if you get a contract or you get a traveler and you want it, to go for it. But that's not what I'm advocating. I've seen the difference when a brand new staffing agency start out with supplemental, meaning that I staff as we go along. Some organizations call it day labor, some call it PRN labor, some call it supplemental. And you hire them, and there's no real requirement. If you want to say to them, why don't you work with me 2 days a week, every Monday, Thursday? But it's not, you can't mandate them to work with you because they are just there. They're supplemental, they're working whenever they feel like working, I should say. And you can start, they can be W-2s. And you can, in your policy, you want to create your own policy. And if you want to say, since they're W-2s and you're paying and you're doing their taxes, you can always create a policy around whatever you want. At least 1 day a week or at least 1 day a month, you can create a policy. Now, if you hire them as independent contractors, and the reason why we started with independent contractors, because we were having people who just work once a month, and you have no control over their schedule. But as time goes by and they get busier and busier and they have a schedule and you require more from them, according to IRS, you should reclassify them as W-2. And it depends on your structure. So there's such a gray line between the W-2s and the independent contractors when it comes to the requirement and what they do and so on and so forth. So that's why I always say I don't have a problem hiring them as independent contractors, because I know if they are independent contractor, I'm going to let them sign the independent contractors agreement. And if they're staff, I'm going to let them sign the staff handbook. You got to make it legal. So there's no, so just talk to your CPA, talk to your tax professional and take it from there. But yes, Damali, they're almost the same. Really, you're going to schedule them whenever you need to schedule them, whenever they are available. How many of you here is healthcare staffing agency is going to be your focus, or it's going to be like on the side, secondary?
No, it's going to be my focus.
Anybody else is going to be the focus?
What do you mean?
I mean, for those of you who have 4 businesses and 5 businesses, administrative focus. And the reason why I said that is that you're not going to not focus on healthcare staffing, and then you give me a bad name that I didn't teach you nothing, and then you don't grow. Because guess what? When you don't make money, guess who gonna look bad?
Yeah.
Healthcare staff in university. So I want you to focus. The only way you're gonna make some big money in this is through getting your contract, and you gotta focus on it. Even if you have another training business or so, it's okay. But make this be a focus.
Yeah.
Eva, I have a question.
Yes.
One thing I noticed, because I've been talking to my friends and stuff like that, to cover for me a couple of shifts, but everybody's moving to, they're traveling to Texas and California, and everybody's doing these traveling contracts.
Don't worry, my dear. They're coming back.
Nurses.
Don't worry, they're coming back, my dear. They're coming back. I got 4 came back this week. 4. The 2 didn't even finish the contract because after a while they realized they miss their family. $11,000 a week doesn't work leaving my husband and my kids. They coming back. Don't worry.
Everybody's traveling
back. They went to Chicago. Somebody's there? Who's that? Somebody went to Chicago, they went to California, they went to, and I'm like, and the bad news is that they don't even tell you that they're gone. They just disappear. And then you calling them to work, you can't get them till you have to text them and say, are you in town? No, I'm in Chicago, Miss Eva. That kind of a thing. So guess what? They're coming back. It's little by little because plenty of them realize that it's the money's good. But it's really don't worth leaving my young baby, my kids. So I go stay right here in Florida or I stay home. So it's okay, don't worry. And to be honest with you, it's COVID slowing down. I don't know.
Yeah. I have a friend that's in California. She's in California now, and she said that a lot of the rates, that she's a travel nurse, and she got she was one of the ones that went when it first happened. And she said they're starting to, the new nurses that's coming in are getting less and less because the numbers of COVID are going down because of everybody taking the COVID vaccination. Yeah. So she said the numbers are going down. So she said a lot of people are not getting them good contracts and stipends they was coming over to other states.
I know that Crucial, AYA, AYA, and Crucial and Favorite, they're taking away all our nurses from South Florida. But they're coming back little by little. Little by little, they're coming back because some of them don't really like it. Some of them realize that if the money is good, but it doesn't worth leaving my family. And some of them have actually made whatever they went for. They went to get some money to pay down on a house or get some money for something. And they're actually, so don't worry, they'll come right back in your community as much as possible. It really helps our organization when I start seeing them coming back. It makes a difference. Because you could tell when where's everybody? Where's everybody? Where's everybody? You can't hear from them.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I've been talking to a lot of them. A lot of the nurses now, they don't want to be staff, but they want to stay here. Yeah. So it's the premium time to do it because now you can offer them possibly, the same, hospital experience, but be in their home. Yeah. So that's the thing. Now they're basically giving themselves a raise, and that's kind of how I put it. And they're like, you're right. And I'm like, I am. Come on.
So if you give them a better rate and you give them a steady,
give them a way better rate.
Way better rate. Way better rate than what they used to pay.
So they are gonna come. When they come on back, they're gonna tell their friends, family, sister, uncle, whoever that, hey, I went to this agency and they got me into a hospital and I'm working 3 days a week, whatever.
3 days a week, yes.
It's happening.
Yes, and once the hospital love you and they trust what you're sending to them, that when you said you're sending ICU nurse, you're not sending a home care nurse. When you're sending ER nurse, you're not sending a med surge. When you said, don't say that if the nurse is I'm very strict with our company. If your body is stepped down, I'll send it to ICU if they short, but I'll tell the chargers. I'll tell them when we're sending the information, we say this particular nurse is a step down. Sometimes the step down nurse can work in ICU. Sometimes they have step down patients in ICU that they downgrade and they don't have a bed on the floor and they can have them work there. You have to be honest and say, but never send an ICU nurse, a step down nurse to the ICU organization and tell the scheduler that she's ICU because you want to bill them ICU rate. You got to be honest. They'll find out and they get back at you. They'll find out. And so on and so forth. And the other thing too, when you get your be clear when you're billing. Be very clear about the billing when you get your timesheet. Your timesheet that you're going to get, have your staff submit your timesheet to you, but you can also connect with the organization and let them send the timesheet when you compare the timesheets. If your staff is half an hour late and they clock out on time, don't get into the habit of billing the organization for 12 hours. They will catch up on you and said you are cheating them. Be very honest. If the staff get there 7:30, you got to talk to the billing, bill the hospital the number of hours that the staff gets there. Or if you want to speak to them and say, hey, my staff got there 7:30 and she left 8 p.m. Should we bill 8 hours? Because by right, if they, you have to make sure that they are in agreement with what you're billing, because they have somebody who's watching those timesheets and they are comparing it. And if they see that your staffing agency cheat them, you didn't know you cheat them, but you did. Cheat them like twice, they start looking at you side eyes. Before you know it, you're not there. They're not going to say nothing. They just use somebody else. So I want you to be very honest with what you do. And it's not dishonesty or anything. There's nothing to dishonesty. It's just that sometimes you overlook some things, and what you think is not a big deal, it's a big deal to them. Because if a staff clock's supposed to clock out at 7:30, 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. in 100% of organization today is not 12 and a half hours, it's 12 hours. A lot of nurses will put on their timesheet 7 a.m., 7:30, you look in the corner, they put 12.5 hours. No, it's not. No hospital pay for that 30 minutes lunchtime or break time. So if a nurse works 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., that's 11 and a half hours. So you got to be careful now how you bill. Be very careful. And you have to connect with the organization. You have to make sure that you talk to them about overtime. Are they paying you overtime? Is that in their policy? They are not obligated to pay you overtime because you are considered independent contractor to them. So they may not pay you overtime, but if they do pay you overtime and you are if they pay you overtime, you are also, if you have independent contractors, you are not obligated to pay them overtime either. But if you have staff and that's in your policy, you're obligated to pay what's in your policy, time and a half. Here's what I mean by that. If a nurse works for 12 hours, that's 48 hours. 40 hours is going to be regular and 8 hours is going to be time and a half if that's in your policy. So when you get a policy signed, just ask them, what about differential? What about holidays? What about Christmas? And what holidays are considered time and a half? If it's not in your policy, make sure that they give you something in writing so you're on the same page. You have to have a discussion. That is why when you are signed, a contract doesn't take one day to just sign. Because they may say, I want to clarify this in your contract. And they send it to you, you fix something, you send it back. But you have to make sure that, what about the questions you're going to ask? What about time and a half? What do you pay for time and a half? Meaning that it's time and a half. Are you paying time and a half for greater than 40 hours? Because if your team work greater than 40 hours, they don't have to pay you time and a half. It's not, but some of the hospitals will say, we will pay you time and a half based on our policy. Because remember that you are not an employee to them, you are an independent contractor. Like for example, Stacy, you are an independent contractor to the hospital. Shehan, you're independent contractor to the organization. Barbara, you're independent contractor. Damali, you're independent contractor to the organization. So they don't have to pay you time and a half. They pay you whatever they want to pay you, whatever you both agree on. Then when it comes to time and a half for the holidays, you're going to discuss which holidays do you pay time and a half for. Lately, most hospitals just pay Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving. But you have some that pays for 4th of July, some that pays for the other holidays. But most of them these days, and maybe it's because of finances, they go for just Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, and New Year's Eve and Thanksgiving. That's not too bad, like 5. But you have to make sure it's clear in the policy. It has to be clear, because when you're ready to bill, you can't underbill and you can't overbill. Because even if you overbill, you can overbill by mistake, but then they're gonna see it as it's either you don't have it together. They're not gonna say you're cheating, but they're gonna think you don't have it together. Your company don't have an accountant. You don't have to tell them that you're a one-man company. If you are the only one working the company, the organization don't have to know, oh, I missed your call because I'm alone here. I'm alone, I'm at home and I'm the only one that answers the phone. They don't have to know that. Act like your company is a big company. act like your company is, you're not going to lie. I'm not saying to lie and say, my company is big. But if you're in your office and you're there with just your executive person, or just you don't have to announce to the hospital that you are a one-man show. Not every hospital like to connect with a one-man show agency. They're like a big company like MedPro that have a lot of people. I'm not saying that you're going to say, oh, it's a lot of us here. No, but you're going to be professional as much as you can be. If you are looking for a virtual assistant, you can connect with Pineapple Staffing. If you hire a virtual assistant to help you with staffing or scheduling, guys, be very specific with what you want them to do. If you're not specific, they will just waste your hours and you still have to pay them. Every Monday morning or every Sunday night, you have to create a list of things that you want them to do. They're never so easy to work with as people think. That's why people change them so often, because they waste their money hiring them, and they pay them $8 an hour or $6 an hour or $4, and they don't do whatever you want them to do. So you have to be specific and list the things you want them to do.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
I wanted to know, how do I register my agency with a big background company? Because every time I go on there, they say be partners, as if I'm doing the screening at my location. They're like, do you have parking? Do you have this? And I'm like, oh, I'm not about to buy that machine.
Okay. You don't have to, you just have to contact the company and say, and let them know, listen, I'm going to start using your company effective Monday, and all of my new employees will be coming to you. That's all. Some of them will say you have to leave a credit card on file, and some of them will say just pay as you go. That's all. It is very, very simple.
Okay, and
It's
then
very simple. So you're talking about the fingerprint background screen, right?
yeah, like through Indigo, yes.
Right, like Indigo. But for those of you in the certain state want both level 1 and level 2. So if you're, say, for example, in the state of Florida, the background screen, most places want level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is the state, and level 2 is the fingerprint with the federal. So you can go with Indigo because Indigo is nationwide, or you can go with a company I use called ClearChecks. ClearChecks, you can register with them, and all they require is like your credit card. And then and depends on how you want to structure it. Do you really want to pay for it yourself, or you want to pay and then you take it from the employee's paycheck? If you're hiring them as a W-2 as employee, I would not suggest that you take it from them, because if I'm an employee and somebody tell me that I'm going to have to pay for my drug screen and pay for my background, I may go to another place to work. So be careful how you telling people to pay for their own. So you may have to eat the cost. It's not expensive. You'll make it back. We eat the cost on all of our background screening. We used to pay for background and drug. Drug screen. When we were independent contractors, and now we pay for. We have most of our staff. Most of them are W-2s. So those we eat the cost for that. The ones who are independent contractors, they pay for their own blood. They pay for their own drug screen, and that's a panel. Is a 10 panel. Most hospitals want.
Yeah, a question: is ClearChecks nationwide as well?
I think so, but just double check. It's just clearchecks.com, and there's always a live person you can talk to. But we just leave a credit card, and everyone we just send there, and it's quick and easy because it's just so easy to submit the information. They run their screen and they run an education verification. Some organization asks for education verification, and you can do it right in ClearChecks for an extra $15. You just click additional test.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can check. I think they are nationwide as well. And you have another one called Good Hire, Good Hire. But before you make a decision, call them up and ask them. You have is it Indigo? It's called? What is it called again?
Indigo.
Indigo. And then you have ClearChecks, and then you have Good Hire, and you have many more, but you can compare the prices. ClearChecks, I find, is pretty reasonable.
Okay. Now, what about scheduling software? I did a YouTube. I seen something called When I Work and something else. and I wasn't sure.
A scheduling software, you can build, you can start from scratch and use your own homegrown scheduling software. You can use your homegrown, something that you build for yourself. Don't get caught up into a whole lot of CRM if you don't have staff yet. You know, it's okay to get it, but if you have four people working for a couple weeks, just do your thing on your in your home on your Excel spreadsheet. You have 10 people. You know, when you start growing, then you start saying, okay, you know what, let me get a CRM, which is one of them that because we're using homegrown even now with over 200 nurses, but we are going into it, how it works. It works. We are going into it. Matter of fact, they called me today to schedule another demo. I got a demo already, and we're going to be using that.
Okay, I have a question.
There are many others up there, so you just have to get demo. But the thing about it is, some of them you have to. Most of them you have to have a certain number of staff before they even want to work with you.
Yeah, because I know another agency has something called On Shift, but when I looked at when I work, that layout looked better.
Well, it depends. When you take you always get a free demo and see. So you want something that the staff can look at and see the opening positions you have. So you know what, if you don't have a lot of staff, you can create something on your own from home and you can change it as you go along. You know, what I want to say to you guys, that don't get caught up in a lot of expense in your first few months, because you can spend a lot of money looking at softwares. You can spend a lot of money looking at these things. Nothing is wrong with, you can even do your own payroll yourself with using QuickBooks. There's no law that said you have to hire no big paychecks for 10 staff, for 10 nurses.
Well, you know, I just don't want to mess up with that payroll stuff when it comes to the IRS. It's just like that's
true.
That
is true. What I'm saying is that connect with them, but you know, like, you know, there's the good news about paychecks, and who else using someone else? ADP. Yeah. And there's another one, Gusta. You can use them with as minimum staff as possible, but it's still a fee. All I'm saying to you guys, when you're starting up. Don't spend a lot of money. Decrease your overhead, decrease your software when you're just starting. You know, the most important thing is that you're accurate, and you're right about that. You need somebody to help you with the payroll, the taxes and stuff like that. But you know, just go for the cheapest one.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, how are you? I finally got in. I just wanted to get a quick word. I sent you an email because the times that you have for the tutoring, I'm not able to do it because I'm in Texas and we're an hour behind. And I think that you only stop at 7 and I'm not even back at the hotel yet at 7. Is it any other time that you can give me?
Okay, so listen, after this meeting, you and I will connect. Call me, 954, our number, and call me, and then we can talk about it, right?
954, go ahead.
My business text line, 954-534-4144. Text me, call me, we can work something out, and then we take it from there.
Okay, that'll be great, because I'm like at the bottom, but I can't make the meetings because when I come in to have done, I'm like, oh, this is frustrating.
That's fine. I work with a lot of one-on-one, because to be honest with you, I must confess that a couple of my recording, I don't know what happened to them. I'm getting this one tonight, so thank God. Otherwise, people are so mad at me. And that's why I say that for the next class that starts March the 4th, feel free that you can jump in the class as much as possible. Some of the speakers that I've gotten, I just want you to know I'm changing some of them. Some of them Angie is good. I'm going to keep Angie for sure.
I like her.
Yeah, Angie's good. I don't know it for sure, but you know, if I ask a company to send me a speaker and they send me somebody that, you know, depends, I'm going to make some changes and make some adjustments so it will be just smoother. Any other questions that you have? What about those people who are on? I just see their names and I don't know if they're going to bed, they're sleeping, they see their names. I don't know what's going on. Anything else? All right. So I want to ask this question to anybody. Is there anybody right now on this line that is say, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. Can't think I can bother with this. I don't know if I can call. I don't think this is for me. Is there such a person? I'm very serious.
I'm
I
only
don't know what I'm doing for
Here's why.
sure. I don't know what I'm
I'm
doing.
100% sure. And this is what I'm not in this just looking for money. If there's somebody on the line right now that say, you know what, I start this program and I don't think that this is for me. I don't think I made a mistake. I didn't know it was this hard.
Right.
Let me know. Because if that's the case, if you're not satisfied and if you don't, it's not just satisfied. If you don't think you want to go all the way, I'll refund you your money. And the real reason why I said that is this. I want winners on this team. If you don't feel like you're gonna go, seriously, I'll make that refund. The reason behind this is I want people to do it because I know that this thing works. I know that it is not a rocket science. I know that if you follow the blueprint, if you be consistent, you will succeed. If you really want to start a business, this is the thing, girl. This is where it's at. So if somebody's out there and said, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna be bothered, be honest with yourself. But
Right.
come and say that if you're really, really thinking that I'm gonna just wing it on my own. This is not a business you wing. You need somebody to help you. You need to be in community.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing was just the, building of confidence to have that communicate, making sure I'm able to come across as a professional when I'm, prepared to get these business interviews, what I'm seeing that they are, because they asking me questions about my business at this point and how the business is going to bring benefits to their business. So it's just like, I never had them type of interview questions before, so I don't know how to answer them off the top of my head.
Do you feel like when we did the practice session, was that helpful or you need more?
That was helpful. But I definitely feel like I would need more to, build confidence in answering the question. Just as, how they have practice, like when you first come out of nursing school or CNA school, they do, practice scenarios, like practice mock interviews with you to get you prepared before you go into the real world. And, some people, they have that, like you said, corporate America, they've been in those fields, so they know how to talk the lingo and how to answer it, whereas others only been employees and then only been answering questions for the employees.
Right. And we can practice more, but the only way you're going to get confident is start doing it. The first person you may mess up with, but to guarantee you that the third one you may not mess up. The only way you're gonna, just like public speaking, like how many people do not love public speaking, do not like to go on stage? All right. How many people love to speak on stage? All right, you may not love it, but if you throw it on stage, you're gonna speak. The same thing with public speaking. If you never, and that's one of the reasons why I always tell people, how can you take a public speaking course online? That's ridiculous. You know why? You learn public speaking by going into Toastmasters to stand up and start speaking. You learn public speaking by going and standing in front of people. You learn public speaking by doing it and showing yourself. You can't learn public speaking by taking notes, speaking notes. It's the same thing with this. Anything you're going to do, it takes practicing. And that's why I think like Toastmasters are good, because when you want to learn to speak on stage, you go to Toastmasters, you're going to be on stage every single week and you're going to speak. And now that is virtual because of COVID, you're still speaking. So my point is, it's the same thing with the interview. Once you start, you just have to keep doing it and you're going to feel more and more comfortable. And you can practice at home with your, somebody else or whatever. But I can always do some more practicing with any one of you guys who want. The frequently asked questions that they will ask you when you call them, they're going to say, tell me about your business. Just like you had, tell me about your business. And you now have to tell them, they don't want to hear, about certain things, how much money you just started. I just started. We're just trying to make it. And we're just trying to wing it. And we just took a course and we just took a course. They don't want it. Here's what they want. They wanted to tell them, that, you don't even need to say how long since you've been. You are I've been an experienced nurse for the past 26 years. Just throw in that. If, use that to cover up the fact that your business just started last week. Just instead of saying your business just last week, you're gonna say, you know what, my name is Eva Francis. I'm a nurse for the last 25 years, or last 30 years. And I've worked in the critical care unit, in the critical care environment, and I've seen the need for staffing in this community. And that's why we have, and use the word we. Don't keep saying your I. When you say I, kind of put a damp on your business. And that's why we've created this amazing business healthcare staffing industry, because we want to help the community with the needs of the patients and families. Use that, throw patients and families in it. All right. Tell me about your business, and just say our nurses are really experienced. They're on the cutting edge. Our nurses are trained. They are compassionate. We have a good open communication with them. We have regular virtual meetings with our nurses and our staff, and they're qualified. They are trained. They are certified in critical care certified. They are med-surg nurses with so many years of experience. They are veteran nurses, seasoned nurses, and they understand the business of healthcare. I can vouch for my nurses because I've been working with some of them for many years, and I've seen the results. And just talk it normal, like you kind of bigging up your nurses, just make sure that they know that your nurses are your CNAs are the best. That when they say, tell me about your company, don't talk money yet until they ask you. Don't even mention anything about billing until they ask you about how much. You can say, we have a rate, we can discuss rates, when we get together or whatever. Or is there any opportunity for you to negotiate? You say, yeah, we can. We really want to make sure that we staff appropriately based on what's going on in the market and in our community. My competitors are staffing at $80 an hour, and I want to give my nurses either more or the same. So it would be, to our best interest to ensure that they are paid appropriately. And I really want to ensure that they come really ready to work. So, just talk to them and let them know what you're looking for and what you have right now. So so you're going to let them know about the nurses that you have. And the next question they will ask you is, what makes your nurses so different from others? How are you different from the other companies around? How are you different? We have 3 companies and none of them can. Here's what they're going to say. We have 5 agencies that we sign up with and none of them can give us nurses. How are you different from them? That's a normal question. We have 5 agencies. We have 5 agreements, 5 companies, and we cannot get staff from them. They can't give us nurses. So how are you different from them? And your answer was going to be, we're going to make in every effort to ensure that we have nurses. We have so many nurses on our pool, and we are going to make every effort to ensure that we assign the right nurses to your organization. Because if they have been burnt by agencies, they're not going to want to take you because they're going to think you're going to burn them as well. So they're going to want to make sure that you're different. We have a couple agency nurses the other day that came here. They didn't know how to even calculate drips. They said they say they're ICU. That's what the director will say. Some of them are kind of rude. They say they're ICU, but guess what? They can't calculate drips. How are you different? Well, my nurses, to be honest with you, we review drip calculations with our nurses. Then they are excellent. And many of them today, they work in medical centers, large medical centers. They are open heart nurses. They are CRRT nurses. They are ECMO nurses. They are ventilator management. They're good at that. They're good at A-lines and GANs, everything. They are there. They are great. And we always do a constant review. We have an assessment skills that they do, that we have with them with Prophecy, a company called Prophecy. And we ensure that they are very much aligned with what's going on in healthcare today. We have a clinical checklist for each and every one of them, and we can send the clinical checklist to you. And one of the things is that I like to have an open communication with my clients, because if there's an issue with any of my nurses, I want to know so I can educate them. Don't tell them, I want to know so I can write them up. No, I want to know because they want to know, want to know that you're not a person, a boss who loves to fire people. People don't like to work with those kind of leaders. Leaders who like to tear their staff apart and fire their staff. Nobody wants to work with those. You want to educate their staff. Treat it, let them see that you're you're a leader who loves to educate and motivate and inspire and empower. You want to educate your staff. So please share any issues with your staff. I want to know. I want to keep the communication open. Sometimes what you're going to do, if you have one nurse on duty, you're going to show up. Hey, just come and check and just see how things are going. You're not going to go seek what the nurse on med-surg and pass everybody at the nurse's station and go on to med-surg. You just say, hey, I just going to check on to see how things are going. How is who's the charge nurse today? My name is Eva Francis. I'm from Brilliant Healthcare, and I'm here today. I was just in the neighborhood, and I said, let me come and just see how things are going. How are their staff doing? Stuff like that. They know that you're human. They know that you care. How is our staff doing? Yes, stuff like that. Somebody have a question? Drop off some donuts sometime for the staff, but make sure when you drop off the donut, make sure the leader sees you. Don't just, because the leader is the one that's going to enhance your future contract. So if don't just slide at the nursing station with a box of coffee from Dunkin' Donut and some donuts and drop it off at the nurse's station. That's good, but make sure that somebody, a decision maker, sees you. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Because the goal is your marketing.
Yeah, right now with COVID, you got to go through a whole screening to get in the building. Everybody go see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Getting better too. Any other questions?
I don't know.
Any questions from anyone? Oh, somebody saying something?
No, I was just piggybacking off what we just did. I was just wondering if it's like, I know I want to practice with you, but is it any way that you could still send me like some of them questions so that I could practice with like my husband and do the questions as well when even though you're.
Yeah, these are the questions. Tell me about your organization. How is your organization different from other company? Tell me a little bit about the credentialing of your nurses. About how many nurses do you have on staff? What's the average experience rate of your nurses, meaning that on an average, they're all 1 year nurse or 6 months, or on an average, they're all mainly 5 years experience. What's the average experience your nurses have? They will ask you that. The other thing that they'll ask you is, what other organizations do you guys, you don't tell them. They will ask you that. Some manager, you're not obligated to answer the question that they ask you directly. You can answer it indirectly. Like, for example, a leader may say, what other organizations do you go to? You can't tell them that you're going to Jackson or you're going to another hospital just because they want to know. No, that's not, they don't need to hear that. You know, sometimes they want to see if you are in their competitors, they're not going to give you the contract. We do service other organizations around. That's all you need to say. Yes, we do service other organizations in South Florida or in Florida or in Michigan or in Jersey. We do serve. Or you can just say, we do serve other organizations in the state. Even if it's an organization next door, don't call any organization name. You have to be professional about it and don't tell them. You can't tell one hospital the other hospital business, because when they see that you're vulnerable and you can't wait to get that contract and you're not experienced, the next thing they're going to ask you is how much money that hospital paying you. And you can't get into all of those things. But I'm telling you, they're not supposed to ask you. But remember that in today's market, you have leaders and you have leaders. You have weak leaders and you have strong leaders. You have nice leaders, and you have leaders who knows what to ask, and some who just dabble into stuff. So you have to be the leader for your organization and said, no, that's, you can just tell them that, well, you staff or you serve, use the word serve other organizations in the state in our state, but don't tell them who they are.
Yeah, where you can hit them because they in these fields. You can hit them with, that you don't like what you said, and then per HIPAA, rules and regulation, I can't disclose that information.
Yeah, you can also say that you can't disclose it, but you can answer say, yeah, we do serve other organizations. And because if you tell them who you serve, The truth about it is, it's not a HIPAA. It's not anything wrong with that, because you're a public company, but you don't need to say it. You don't really need to say it, because, and you don't need to say what's going on. What's the worst? They may ask you stuff like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready is your organization to serve your company is to staff us, because we are a trauma center and we need nurses. Are you ready? And you just gonna tell them how much you have. You're constantly open, and you're hiring all the time, and you never stop hiring. So your goal is to have them as your priority, because remember that if you have 6 hospitals, you got each of them have to know that they are your priority.
Okay.
You're my priority. I will. Each of them are your priority. You can't treat any different, because one of the things they want to know is that they want to know if you staff another company down next door to them, because they're going to watch to see when they can't get staff, did you send the staff to that company, or they have those things, and you have to be wise and see where they're coming from, because they will try to decrease your billing rate, because one organization that you started up with was giving you 120, and because you charge them 125 now, they want to know, they want to drop it to that amount, that rate.
Mm,
Yeah. All right. I know we have been talking a lot. Is anything that's topping anyone here from any questions that we have? I want to let you guys go because we're getting a little late. But I want you to know that even after this, I am open to set up any kind of one-on-one coaching or mentoring or encouragement with you guys. Any questions you have, let me know. I am using my same experience, the same process that I use with our organization. And let me tell you, you will succeed if you follow and be consistent. If you're consistent and serious, there are people on this group here today that I know that they're ready. I know you're ready. I know that you're consistent. I know that you're gonna do well. And I know I know it's just something I do. And you're gonna get frustrated sometimes. Like, for example, if the census drops and you in all your organizations, and you have no work for your staff, but you're gonna keep encouraging them and say, listen, it's gonna get better. That is why it's good to have a lot of companies, a lot of agreements, a lot of contracts. And some nurses are very picky. They don't want to go to this hospital. They want to go to this. They don't want to go to that. But, you just have to encourage them to go wherever the need is. Any other question?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we able to staff children pediatrics in the state of Florida?
If the hospital, if Joe DiMaggio needs you and you're a pediatrics nurse, sure.
Okay.
If Joe DiMaggio or Mercy Children's or Miami Children's or whichever one we have, any children's hospital we have in Broward General or West Palm Beach or anyone, and your nurses are pediatrics experience, make sure that they are really pediatric experience. And the way you're gonna know, don't just go by what they say. You're gonna go by the years of experience, but make sure they check out their pediatrics clinical assessment skills. Make sure that they have PALS, ACLS, and BLS, all three. Make sure they have NRP, especially if it's neonates. Make sure they have, what else they need to have as pediatrics? If they're going to neonatal, they have to have NRP, PALS, ACLS, and BLS. Hospitals try not to use too many agencies in that, because they can't find them that much. But if you have them, that's a good segue to call them and say, by the way, we have some amazing pediatrics nurses with NRPs, PALS, ACLS, and you start lay out with experience and make sure they have their checklists. Their clinical checklist is checked off, and align yourself with one of the companies that does assessment, like Prophecy or some other ones out there. But Prophecy is good. They have pediatrics assessment that you can use.
So do you register with them?
Uh,
You register with Prophecy as an agency?
if we register with them,
No, I said that's what we do. We register with Prophecy as an agency.
if you want to step up your education, you don't have to do it, but if you want to be better than the other organizations around, have a company that helps you with education, assessment, so they can give you, you can have them, you can do refreshers course with them, or pre-employment assessment courses or whatever. And you don't have to see, I don't register with them because I'm an educator by thing, and I write a lot of courses that my team can do online and offline. Yeah, because like topics like drug and drip calculation, I used to teach that as a director, and I teach it to every single nurse that comes to me. I have it on it's called drug drip calculation. It's on SlideShare on if you Google Eva Francis on SlideShare, you'll see drug drip calculation. I send all of my staff to do all of that. I do critical care testing. I give them question and answer, and I add that to the resume to the organization to let them know. So you don't have to go through prophecy. You can teach them yourself. If you're good at teaching telemetry nursing or EKG, 12-lead EKG or basic EKG, those kind of things, teach them, and then you add it, do a class on Zoom or whatever, and you do a refresher course, then you add it to their requirement and let the organization know that they have a certificate in this. You have done this with them. If you don't want to do that, you can reach out to Prophecy or any of those companies.
Okay.
You can give them any additional courses that you want. You can go on Joint Commission website and download the National Patient Safety Goal, get a copy, and give each nurse a copy to review the PowerPoint, a National Patient Safety Goal. Then afterward, you can brag and tell the hospital that your nurses are Joint Commission educated.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Later, I guess down the road, or once we get it going and up, do you help or do like a do-it-yourself, or you do it for us, Joint Commission for our companies?
Well, I have worked with Joint Commission in the past, and I've done a lot of Joint Commission in organization, and I've consulted with them, but I've never done agency. I've done acute hospital. Remember I'm coming from a hospital setting, large medical center. I was teaching Joint Commission in the center. When I left there, I was doing Joint Commission consultation. I've worked with them for a little bit. I've done a lot of Joint Commission training and education. I know the standards, but at the same time, I've never done Joint Commission, how to accredit an agency. We have applied for our agency. We are not Joint Commission yet, but we have submitted the application. So they're not surveying anywhere right now because of COVID. But yes, I know that it can be that harder than the hospital Joint Commission.
Okay.
It can be.
I heard it's opening back up in March.
That's mine, and I can help you guys and consult and help you guys prepare for yours. But yes, I want to be a Joint Commission survey. This is going to be my first Joint Commission experience with a staffing agency.
Okay.
Yeah. And they have Joint Commission for nursing homes too. They have ACA for nursing home, and they have a Joint Commission for other, organizations, but for other entities. But I've done, I've done chest pain certification. I've done stroke centers and so on and so forth, but I've never done staffing companies. So hopefully we'll when they start surveying again, we'll get a survey and then we'll pass, and then I can share the experience with you guys.
Okay, great.
Any other questions, ladies?
Eva, one more question. So any recommendations for Kamana Health?
Okay.
So have you used Kamana Health?
The same guy who came to present, right?
Yeah. I
think that they really have a lot to offer. And when it comes to, I'm planning on using them, but the thing is, I've built my own homegrown farms and everything. What I was telling, I think it was Shehan and I were talking a few days ago, and I agree with her. She says it's good to start with them rather than waiting. Then you have to merge everything that you have out there with them. It's a little harder. And he has a way though that you can do it without feeling the pain. But I think that you can start with them with just very little service, and then you grow and build up. They have their place. I like them because they have all kind of stuff going on. And then he's a nurse. It makes sense. I'm going to hire them for some services, but I'm not sure when yet and how I'm going to do it. I'm kind of just ironing out some kinks right now, but I think that's what we're going to be doing. That See, I have a lot of people working in our company. I have a lot of assistants and virtual assistant and support services. So we're not lacking with people to do stuff like paperwork. I pretty much just oversee the whole entity. But eventually I'm gonna work with him. Were you thinking of working with him, Leonie?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, connect with him and see what the basic thing that he can offer you. Because the
Okay.
basic, connect with him and ask him what's the basic that he can offer to start. Because he's also a good resource too.
Mhm.
He's also a good resource.
Okay.
Yeah, John, and he's right here from Florida too. He lives in Florida, so it's a good if you can start with him, and then the good news about him is that you don't have to have a huge company for him to be a support to you. He can be a support to you with just a few staff you have, and then as you grow, he grows along with you, or you grow along with them.
And then one more question, Eva. So do you actually interview each and every single one of your nurses or staff?
Every
do-
one of them, but not face to face.
So
I
do you-
interview them like how I'm having you right now. I interview all of them in Zoom. I'll interview and I'm the one who does the interview. And I interview them. I have one other person in the company help us, but I do most of them if I'm not available. But to be honest with you, most of the people that work with us are recommended, word of mouth. I've never put an ad on Craigslist or Indeed to get any of my nurses. I have over 200 nurses on my list. I've never done because they are from hospitals. Most of because I focus on supplemental and per diem, and they're great. They're active. They have everything because you want to. They are if they say they are med surg, they're med surg. If they are critical care. When I first started, I started with critical care and ER only, and then I add med surg, telemetry, and step down on it. I interview them on Zoom, and if I've interviewed a few on the phone, and I was comfortable because they were recommended. I didn't just get them off to just send their application just that. Most of them were recommended by somebody. And also on your application, make sure you have a place that they need to add who recommended them. Make sure that is there.
Oh,
And
referral.
don't be afraid to interview them make sure that it's on their application has a place for who they recommend, two professional recommendation, as well as next of kin, like who can we contact. Make sure that that's on your application. I think that's, if you use my application, I think it's on my application. If you want to copy it, I think I sent it to you guys. You can add what you want to add to it. You can tweak it, because there was one day I remember that my staffer, my person who was on call that Saturday was calling this nurse, and the nurse is a great nurse, but he said, oh, I forgot I was working Saturday, and I went out and I drank and I overslept. He didn't call back. They didn't find him they didn't find him till they found him at 12 o'clock, 12 in the day. He slept. Why? Because and nobody could find him. We almost called the police. Nobody, and then thank God we had a name, and they go and knock on his door, and he was right there fast asleep because he went out and drank. It was his birthday, and he drank, and and then he couldn't wake up the next day for work.
That's it.
Years ago, when I was a director in the hospital, I probably, initially when I first became a leader, I probably would have, just probably write him up and terminate him. But as time goes by, you don't terminate so quickly. Like him, I just educate him, and he apologized, and we gave him another chance, and he moved on. We have to, kind of give people chances sometimes. So I give him a chance. So as to your point of interview them and be very careful, and be careful of friends. Don't be too friendly with your people, meaning that they are your friends, but a lot of times they are friends, but you have to be professional. Because sometimes when friends see you making too much money, friends want more pay fast because you're the friends. So watch that too, because if they say it's $80 an hour, of course you can give people more if you want to, but sometimes when friends see that they will calculate how much you're making right there, and they will demand that you make more money. And if you don't give them more, then they get mad. So that is something you have to establish to make it professional. All right, I think I better let you guys go because some people want to sleep, and we've been dragging this thing out. Any other question? If you have more questions, please shoot me an email, call me. I'm here for you, and I'm going to make sure that we have to maintain that awareness and support each other, and and support each other, get each other's phone number, communicate with each other online or whatever, and let us all grow together and make this work.
Can
Make,
Dr. Eva,
yeah,
Post our information in the chat, and then somebody can save the file, because
can
it's
we
recording. Oh, yeah.
say this again?
if you guys wanted to put your phone numbers on the chat,